Okay, cool.
Yeah, just trying to look at this, and because I have not picked it up for
Right.
some time,
Yeah.
um, I guess we are meeting to decide our next step, I guess, and to decide our next step. And I was just looking through, and I just pulled this out a couple of minutes ago to look through some of the paperwork that I have here, and a couple of things that I did notice. And I remember we had talked about the Mormon,
Yeah.
being able to go to Mormon. There is one over by you.
Oh, really?
And yes, I just discovered this.
Okay.
There is one in Anaheim, and it's on Laura.
Okay.
Laura.
Loera? Loara?
Yes, yes.
And what?
It's 44. Here it is. 44.
Oh, you just have Loera Street?
Yeah. No, I have there's the complete address.
Oh, you could. Oh, okay, cool. Do you have a highlighter by any chance? Or it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I was looking for my highlighter.
Yeah, we gotta go to Lisa's.
Yeah.
Do you remember the lady that we talked to after? Her name was Serena, and she said that she worked at the Tustin Library, but I don't know if did she say that Tustin only has one library, or did she say that there's a central library? Or was she saying that she now worked at the new library, like the new? It just got renovated.
Renovated. Yeah. Yes, that's what she. That's what I thought she said. That it was renovated. And that one is downtown. It's.
Okay.
Yeah, it's downtown. Like El Camino, B Street. That part.
Okay.
Old Tustin.
Okay.
What they call Old Tustin.
Because she says that she works in the teen part, like the teens.
Yeah, she said something. She had something to do with teens.
Yeah, because I was doing when I went to the Anaheim library, because there was like a zine fest where you make your own magazine, and so it was like locals as well as, but it was more so a lot of LA people, but there was a good amount of Orange County residents as well as like Inland Empire residents coming through for this fest. And so what I'm trying to say is that I've been learning about like Reconstruction, like from like United States. Have you heard of Third Reconstruction? This whole Third Reconstruction, it's about like having a moral movement now.
Okay.
We're now, the civil rights movement was a Reconstruction. When slavery ended, when Lincoln and the African American, I believe, caucus, they once slavery ended and they were trying to reconstruct America. And so it was just, so now we're in this Third Reconstruction. This is by Reverend William Barber. They're really continuing MLK's movement, the Poor People's Campaign. And so with this, I was trying to see, there was a conversation, like how I saw on like the OC Peace Builders, there was a discussion about the Third Reconstruction. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna check it out. The organizer, she suggested like, go to your library, and so I checked my library, I couldn't find it, but I saw that the Reconstruction, anything that had to deal with Reconstruction in the United States, it was in the juvenile like section. It just the wording juvenile kind of caught my attention. You know, because just the wording of it. You know, we think of like a criminal. Like this is something bad. Because even books that just talk about the Black movement, Black empowerment, that's under like terrorism section.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I'm just really wanting to see what this definition of juvenile, if I'm seeing it, if I saw it correctly. I do need to go back. I am wanting to go back. I've been meaning to, you know, retype what I've retyped and see what I see. But I'm really wanting to see what that wording means. You know, because there's now a teen section, because I can see like maybe juvenile, like young, in development. It could be in that realm, but I don't know. But the thing is that since I know that anything that has to deal with Black power, it's under a terrorism section in, and so like in like a Barnes and Noble or in the bookstores.
Really?
Yeah, or just even in the libraries. It's under that section.
Oh my goodness.
And so I'm just wanting to understand what the wording juvenile means to the library, like in the library references, because you can just put it under teens, because I can see that, because we're going into junior high. You know, maybe that's where it's, you know, that's where they're starting to learn about American history and all this stuff. So I can understand that, but it's something that I'm wanting to investigate, or just to really look into to see what that wording means to the library, and seeing if it's in other libraries.
Okay.
And seeing if we can change that, because Reconstruction, that's something that's part of, that should be in the history, you know, section. That should be under, like, it shouldn't be under a negative connotation.
Right. When when you were talking about that is really interesting. And I guess just from my own experience and a little bit of what I know also. But what I wanted to say is that is a couple of things on that. Well, first off, you know, we were not allowed to vote until 1964. Yeah.
And so how many years ago? Like, that's not even 100 years ago.
No.
You know, we can't even say that's 100 years ago.
No.
Right now in 2018.
Right. And then the other part, you know, when you stop and think about it, 1964, Blacks were allowed to even vote. And then I just saw, you know, I'm like watching PBS, and then discovering that women were not given the right to vote until 1929. So it has not even been 100 years.
Not yet. Yeah, it's getting close,
right? Right.
But not even yet.
Not even yet. So when we start, and then the other point that I want to make, you know, and you talking about these dates and everything. So you look at 1929, women were given the right to vote. 1964, Blacks were given the right to vote, and it wasn't until in the 1970s before they even introduced Black history into your universities, and which is really interesting. And when you say the terrorism and all of that, that is, it's under that. Reconstruction is all under that and everything. And so just thinking how, and let me see, what was it? Because I went online when you told me about the Jim Crow, and and when you're talking about this Reconstruction and everything. So I think I remember some of that being in what I picked up about Jim Crow, and it sounded like they did call some parts of it the Reconstruction and everything. And what has been interesting, and I've just been picking up bits and pieces of different things. And what something else that struck me that was interesting was that after blacks were slavery was abolished and all of that, how at one time blacks was able to vote. They could vote,
What year?
It was like in the 18 something.
Was this when black and whites were in harmony? Because there was a time when they were like okay with each other, and especially in the servitude part.
Right.
Like they were okay with each other until the planner elitist is what I'm trying to understand, and what I'm reading is that the planner elitist, when they saw this formation happening, this unity happening, then they decided to instill fear or to begin to separate them, because they saw, like, I think just fear.
Right.
Because it's like, they're becoming they're becoming together, and so it's like, okay, well, what I'll do is make it better for you and not better for them, giving them, of their kind, much more privilege, a little bit more privilege, not to the class that they're at, but we'll give you that middle class, because now your neighbor now will be considered the lower class in a way. It's kind of like, we're now going to divide them. We're now going to give you special privileges. And then from there, it's like, they start this sense of hate then.
Right.
I don't know am I making sense?
Yeah, you are, but and wanting to go back to the Civil War and what happened after the Civil War, and it was the the Jim Crow, how the Jim Crow, from what I understand, it would be something to go back and really look at that. And
there's a Jim Crow museum.
Oh, okay. And some of this is, it helped with bits and pieces that I just, picked up from time to time. But what I was understanding is that after the Civil War, and the South did not free their slaves. Right,
because that's the whole thing about Juneteenth.
Yeah, right. And so, and it was really interesting, the compromise, and how, and before that, blacks were able to vote, and then it was part of this.
Because what year did we say that was? Oh, we're going to go back. Sorry. What year when blacks were able to vote before the Jim Crow.
Yeah, it was like whenever the it was right after the Civil War. Whenever the Civil War.
So during Reconstruction,
right?
That's
right.
when blacks were able to vote.
Right.
The first Reconstruction.
Right.
Right.
Basically, yes. Basically, it was because blacks were able to hold office.
Right, because that was the whole part of Reconstruction.
Right.
Sorry. Okay,
right.
Yeah. So continue.
Right.
Sorry.
No. So and I think that was the first Reconstruction that you are talking about. Which to me it just in some of this genealogy I watch Henry Gates Jr.
Yeah.
And really like listening to him and finding out that we have some free slaves and some free slaves and slaves, doing an era and how some of our black men that held offices, within the government and all, and it had to do, and then it came about. I think that's when the Juneteenth came about, and what was happening is that because in the South, to be able to free the slaves in the South, it caused too much of an economical pressure upon the economy of the South, because once they freed these slaves, they did not have the slaves to work the land, and so there was a debate or something. There were some men that were running for offices during that time, and they ended up compromising. And that's when blacks' blacks' right to vote was taken away from them. And then that was when they did not want blacks to bear arms. And that's basically when, from what I was getting from it, that's when blacks became more or less like second citizens and everything. So there was there, I forget if it was a president or something that it ended up being and all, and I thought that was really interesting. And then to know, at one time blacks were able to vote and held offices and everything. And it was just about that time that blacks really became basically the second class citizens and all. And then and then we go on to 1964 when blacks were until blacks were able to once again vote. And then it wasn't until the 70s, I think it was in the 70s, when even Black history was even introduced into the educational system.
Yeah, because once Lincoln got assassinated, and whoever his successor was, decided to reverse everything.
Okay.
So like you're correct on. I forget I don't know if he was the president or the vice president. But whoever overtook after Lincoln's assassination just rejected everything.
And it was for me. It was the beginning of the Jim Crow, basically the Jim Crow.
Because it's like,
law.
Where did that name come from?
It's almost like a fictitious name. It's not even. From what I heard on the little thing.
Yeah, because this is because in the Zine Fest, like there was one, it was this one. And she says like, and she told me like why, like people asked her like, why do you have birds around and stuff? And she just said like, cause it's a new form, like that's what it all is. It's just another new form of what Jim Crow is. It's literally a crow.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's a bird. Like, and then I was like, oh yeah, a crow, a bird. Like, yeah.
Right. Jordan, all I can say, I commend you on, looking into this, and it is a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah. Cause she even did, what else did she do? Oh, this one.
Yeah, it is. Not only do we get into and even with today, what's going on today, not only is it discrimination is crossing so many barriers. Like the discrimination against women, and thankful that women are starting to stand up.
Yeah,
women are starting
CEO
to go into Congress.
Yeah, because that Moonves dude, have you heard of him?
Oh yeah, So
that's a big one. That's a big one for
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. All of them. Well, even Weinstein.
Yeah, but like this Moonves seems like he's bigger than Weinstein.
Oh yeah.
It seems like it. He seems like he's more like he's the first undercover. Like the first.
Yes, and he's married to Julie Chen.
Oh, so she's the one that she's married to.
She's married to him, and so this is going to be interesting. When it first came out, she's on the Talk.
Yeah.
The Talk.
Oh.
And Big Brother and all. So
is she still on the Talk?
Yeah. Right. Well, right.
Has
right
she been on the Talk lately, or they haven't come back yet?
They haven't come back yet. But Big Brother is still going on.
Oh, well, that could always be pre-recorded. Can it?
Big Brother. I thought Big Brother was live.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was live. But so much of this for me crosses so many barriers, and so and I can see where it comes back to women's rights and everything, and then like Serena, being able to stand up, and the gymnasts, them being able to stand up, and we've all in some way or another have been suppressed, in our work and everything. So yes.
Were you planning on going to the thing tonight, or no? If I wasn't gonna go.
No, if you were not going to go. Okay. No,
then I'm gonna go ahead and check and see if there's one on Saturday, or whichever one is coming up. I'm gonna see with this because I finally got into I finally went to a meeting with the Housing is for Human Rights. They're a collaborative or a coalition, and so when I finally decided to attend a meeting of theirs, they were thinking of becoming a nonprofit. And so I was like, oh wow, that's interesting, because with the network that I'm doing, I was thinking, should I become I was wanting to become a nonprofit, or if it's best to be like fiscally sponsored. I don't know, like the whole process of it. So So with the first time that I went there and they actually had a representative that is familiar with starting nonprofits or a background in nonprofits, I'm gonna see in this meeting tonight if they're going to form a committee and to begin the nonprofit, to if they want to execute a nonprofit. And I'm wanting to be part of that committee, hopefully, you know, to really see the process of how to implement a nonprofit. Because she said, the representative that came in, she says that it takes, like, the earliest will be 2 months, like, to have it ready to be a nonprofit, to have your organization be a nonprofit. Because I've been hearing it's going to take like a year to a year and a half and all this stuff. But I mean, if she's saying 2 months, then like that's something that I'm willing to really like learn from, and to see how do you start a nonprofit, like from like this, like a coalition or a, you know, a group, just a group starting.
Oh, okay. And I hear you, and it's it sounds really good. And if honestly, if I wasn't, like I told you, I'm just trying to get back into it and everything. But I would encourage you and commend you on the housing, because that is one of the biggest things that are going on right now. And what is it? LA is starting to zone, you know, places.
Because of that stadium and stuff.
I
believe so.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're taking out where the stadium was at, I believe. Well, it was near the Forum, but they're just saying that with the whole gentrification happening and all that stuff.
We need to do something. You know, it's a good thing that we need to do something. And
and especially with the homeless, because that's really what it really is. Because
I know.
Like, don't even with the Irvine lady, when there was the town hall meeting. This is an Orange County problem. I'm like, so what county do you put in?
Right. Everybody's saying not my backyard.
Yeah.
And did you see the part? I know we both can get all upset. Like in San Pedro.
Oh, okay.
They haven't even decided on, and according to the news. Okay, according to the news, they say in San Pedro they have not even decided where they want to put this. Put the housing in San Pedro, and they are already up in arms. And so they are saying to do Terminal Island, since to put the people on Terminal Island and everything. And so I thought, that is, San Pedro had not even decided where the site is going to be, and they're already protesting.
Yep.
I know. I know.
This with what you're saying, a Terminal Island. Now what you're saying confirms when I approached, when I encountered a homeless lady, just in the park. She was in her RV, and so she was just cleaning it. And I was at the Brookhurst Park, and just wanting to chill. And I just saw her. And I'm understanding like the homeless situation, and I just started talking to her,
right.
And then she came out and said that they're thinking of building like concentration camps, you know, for the homeless and all this stuff, and I'm just like, this is. Like, now that you're saying a Terminal Island, and it's like,
Well,
You know?
no, she was saying, no, this lady was saying, basically not in my backyard.
Right.
Put put it on Terminal Island.
Oh, Terminal Island. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
put it on.
Sorry, I
on,
got the wording.
Yeah,
The wording.
to put it. She was basically what I got in San Pedro. They are just talking about
Yep.
formulating a place, like Irvine and other places and everything. And so her suggestion was to do, Terminal Island.
Yeah.
And I would say a little bit of experience. My experience with the homeless, and I put them into 3 different categories, and between what's on the news and everything. But anyway, you have your mentally ill. And you have the ones that are just out, that don't want to work, don't want no responsibility, and yes, living off of the system and anybody else. So you do have that group. And then you have the group that are working, have jobs, working 2 and 3 jobs, and cannot even afford, a place to live and everything. And yes, you will have to separate the groups out. And so my thing would be, okay, let us I would say first, work on the people that are working and need a place to stay. Give them a place to stay.
Yes.
Okay? Then we can go, and then the next group I would say would be the mentally ill, and even with some of you mentally ill, and they come under so many different categories too. They're to help them, So there are some that you can get into treatment and help them along, and get them into treatment, and they're willing to go into treatment. And then you have the other ones that are paranoid, that they just refuse to be for lack of a better word, refuse to be housed. They feel better being out because they're paranoid and everything. And so, and I don't know, and there's probably medications that can help them even with that. And all of this, and even with the mentally ill and everything, and my experience is that you build up a trust. You have to go in there. You build up a trust, because when we were feeding, what were the homeless, or they were homeless. Some of them were homeless, and doing that, I'm telling you, it was all about building up trust, and they are a community of their own, and they take care of themselves.
That's how it was at the riverbed.
Right.
Like, that thing was organized over there.
Right.
Right.
But you have the ones to come in and mess it up and give everything a bad name, and even like what we were talking about, in every my experience, every part of discrimination, you have the ones that are trying to do good and everything, and you're always going to have somebody to come in and disrupt and make it bad for everybody. And then all of a sudden you the whole thing is messed up and everything. So I commend you, and my suggestion to you, when you start thinking about a nonprofit, because there's so this is huge, Jordan. If you can focus in on one particular group, just try to focus in on one particular group. And if you're interested in housing, that will be, because you want to, with the business, you want to narrow it down to a specific, and try to stay focused on that particular one, because if you're not careful, I call it chasing a rabbit. You will find yourself going this way, that way, so narrow your focus down to one particular group, and stick with that one, and and just keep moving forward on that one, because and once again, it's going to be other things that are coming in, and yes, you want to be able to collaborate. However, and maybe Lisa talked to you about this, when you have your mission statement, so you want to stay true to your mission statement, so that even when you start collaborating, you want to make sure that it meets your purpose. It will meet your purpose and everything, because like I said, it's so easy to start venturing off, so
yes, it is.
Be it's just try to make sure that you have one purpose, and stick with that one purpose. And there are going to be times when maybe somebody wants to collaborate with you, that the money or whatever, it might look good, but think about it. Okay, is this in line with what I'm trying to do? So just stay focused, because you're gonna have
because with me going to all these things, events, it's like I think what I really have to do is look at the issue in my community, and what is the group that needs help, or that needs some sort of support, or just even who am I targeting? Because it's like, because I know that I have this feeling, and it's like, and I keep, this feeling has this isn't the first time. This is like the second, third, fourth, it keeps happening, and so it's like, if I'm having this feeling, if I'm continually having this feeling, then I know that I'm not the only one that's having this feeling, or I'm seeing an issue happening, and I know that I'm not the only one that sees it, and so what I don't know about, it's like what I know and what I don't know about Orange County, because I am Orange County, like I've been born and raised in Orange County.
You're a privileged child. You're considered privileged because of your education, and and where you live. So you are considered privileged. In so many ways. Okay, I guess another best way of saying it, it's like being a privileged white person, because of how you've been raised and everything. And it's really good that you are thinking about that. And yes, there are other people that are out there. So for you, it's just staying true to your really to your vision about everything. And yes, you are seeking information and everything, and you will have people collaborating with you, and you will be out there, you will be networking, working all the time. So and I hear what you're saying, but I would encourage you, do what you have in your heart. And it's really good that you are saying you're looking at it from a local point. So if you can take care of Anaheim, that area. And so the other part, I think, to start small.
Yeah.
So you continue on the path, searching and everything. So that's why I say, get it straight in your mind.
Right.
What it is, what you plan to accomplish.
At the end of the day, it's about building bridges. It's about creating reunions. My motto, or the motto that I'm going with No Fear Network, is see me as I see you, hear me as I hear you.
Okay.
And so, cause even with Auntie Lisa, she says you have to be prepared for your 10-second pitch. So whatever your 10-second pitch is, what is it? What's No Fear Network? And so for right now, what I'm seeing, it's about building bridges instead of burning them.
Right.
And creating reunions, and seeing each other and hearing each other. It's respect at the end of the day. To agree, we agree to disagree, but I hear you, I see you. Does that make sense? Okay. Because I know that I can go even further, but it's just that when you're saying just stay on just not one path, but just have that clear vision. Right. That's my clear vision. Right. It's about creating reunions, just bringing together.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you are more about communicating and bringing people together where they can see. So okay.
Yeah. Because I see that for me, just like how Lisa sees herself as a lighthouse, I see myself as a stream. And so I see myself as a communication filter. If you're needing, just building that stream, knowing that here's two sides, yes, but we can come to a middle from just creating reunions and building bridges. That's
okay.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, what I'm hearing, you are more into, communicating. It's about communication, and I was thinking it was about being more of a resource. But
it's even that too.
Right, and still, but your resource will be communication, not so much as the actual. Okay.
Because this is something that I'm just starting out with,
right.
So
No,
it's
right.
So I am what Lisa said. She did say that this will change over time until you finally see it. Right. So it's right now, this is the only way that I can see where where this network is going right now, right here, right now. Right. And it's in order for me to show that is by producing programs, right? That kind of says what I'm trying to say. yeah, so I'm trying to do various programs and stuff.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah,
because I'm into constructive criticism. Like, I need to know like what it is that I'm not saying clearly. That it's maybe what I'm saying is not being interpreted or said in a way that is unclear. Like, that is either unclear or in a different way. Yeah.
You are good at articulating yourself.
Oh, okay.
So you're fine. You're fine. But and thank you for clarifying that, because when you were talking about housing, I was thinking that you were actually talking about helping to get housing. So what I'm hearing you say that you are wanting to be a place of forum, like a forum where both groups can come together and they can really in a forum and from that form and like a think tank.
Yeah.
You want to put together a place like that. So and to be able to have a place where people from both sides can come, and the whole objective is to be able to express your opinion. And as you said, both sides will have to listen. And so at the end of it, to be able to say, okay, what can be, but if you the one facilitating both sides, then it will be left to them to come.
Because it's like at the end of the day, we can come to say we can agree to disagree in the very beginning.
Right.
We can agree to disagree.
Right.
No matter what. But once we leave here, it's not like I'm going to try and get this person. It's like now you see this person, now you understand this person, now you see and understand where this person is coming from. The other person sees and understands where that person is coming from. And then once we come into the parking lot, or at the end of the day, we can come together and have drinks. We come together and eat. We come together and say like, hey, do you need something from the store? We can still be neighborly at the end of the day.
Right.
So.
Right. Yes. I hear what you're saying, and I'm getting clarity on that. I don't know if you've seen this guy. Let me see. It was on one of the. I can't remember. It was on CBS or NBC. Maybe it was on CBS. It may have been on CBS, but doing the debates and different things, there was this one guy that would have these groups to come together, and then they were able to go back and forth and express themselves and the views and blah 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 and everything. And what was interesting is that they this small group, they ended up staying together even after that. So
because then it's like at the end they built a form of trust within each other.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
because it's like now it's like, oh, I'd rather go with them than these people that I've been hanging out with, because because they have my back more because they understand me more. I don't know. It can go either way, but there's
I think it's the thing of honesty.
Yeah.
It's honesty. So at least I know where you stand and how you feel. And then, even though you feel that way, after getting to know me, you can see me in a different light,
Mm-hmm.
and respect, and being able to respect my
Mm-hmm.
views and everything. So yeah, so it it's good. Yeah, it's good. So where have you been able to go? Oh, so you just still trying to um, so you're still just researching to see how to bring this into play.
What?
What you want to
into
do?
play? Yes, because right now I'm into producing and creating this network called No Fear Network.
Okay.
And so with that, our what we're about is that we're about creating reunions, and by doing that, we critically examine and dismantle fear, which we define fear as false evidence appearing real within our communities, to rebuild a more nurturing tomorrow.
Okay.
And so that's what we're about. Our motto, our mission, it's the quote, "See me as I see you, hear me as I hear you."
Okay.
And so we're kind of like what I'm in this mindset of is we're really tackling the titles or the portrayals that have been put on certain groups, particularly the African American group. How the titles and portrayals of the African American community, but also other communities, in print and in form. Just the wording and even the subliminal wordings, you know. And so with that, we do this by implementing programs. And so the first program, it's called a retrospective review. And so we look at past television shows and relate it to today's social headlines, media headlines, news headlines, but also personal stories we've either overcome or encountered. If we'd like to share that, if we want to share that. So we are looking for like reviewers. We're looking for people. So far, it's been just me and Miles. So we've done only like 2 episodes. We put out the first episode yesterday. And so I really want it to be, it's a family show. So with a retrospective review, we're looking at, the first television show we're looking at is called The Corner. And so it's actually a prequel to the show called The Wire. It's a big TV HBO show. And so whenever I ask people about The Wire, or the people that know about The Wire, they don't know about The Corner. And so that's The Corner. It's based off of David Simon and Ed Burns' 1997 book, titled The Corner, a year in the life of an inner city neighborhood. And so it focuses on a once affluent West Baltimore family that gets addicted to heroin, and how it affects them, how it affects each member of the family, as well as the community that they live in. And so each episode goes into like the mom, the dad, the son, and then, you know, the community within themselves. But you see, you know, it's a television show. And so it came out in 2000. The miniseries came out in 2000, and it actually is an Emmy Award winning miniseries. So I do believe it needs to have that recognition there. And so, you know, with this happening in 97, that's what, like 10 years, 9, 20 years. Like, if we're at, like, 2017, that's 20, or 2018, that's 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're really seeing, like, why is history repeating itself?
Mm-hmm.
What's really going on?
Right.
And now with learning about the new Jim Crow, the school to prison pipeline, and just what's really happening within our communities, it's like, what's going on, not only within our communities, but even within our country,
Mm-hmm.
just the state of the country. So, and even just within myself, because it all comes down to me. And so what it is just, we're just having a conversation. We're watching the show. We'd like to watch the show together. I'd like it to be like a family, thing where we come together, we watch it as a family, and then we talk about it.
Right.
And so that's really like the premise. That's what we're really trying to do, and we try to relate it to today, if it applies, and stuff, and what we think about the episode, and and just kind of another viewpoint from a different generation or the same generation,
Mm-hmm.
That didn't know it before. Because when I was growing up, I learned about The Wire when Breaking Bad came out. And I'm like, but this was happening when I was starting, like, high school or college, and I wasn't, aware of this,
Right. Right.
But now I am, and so I'm wanting to do something about that. Just because it's just that feeling, like you have to express yourself in any way that you know
Right.
how to. So it's just a form of expression and stuff.
Right. 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 And I hear you. I have a couple of questions when you talk about we.
Oh, we. Yeah, it's we.
Who is the we?
We is me and No Fear Network. Whoever is part of or wants to be part of No Fear Network.
Okay.
So whoever is like in No Fear Network
Okay.
and stuff.
Okay.
But we are open to changing, because even though I am saying we, this is from like my viewpoint, yes, but I'm saying like this is what No Fear Network is about, and so that's why I guess I put No Fear Network as we.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's really good.
Okay.
Okay. What I'm hearing from you, that's good.
Okay.
Because okay.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm hearing, and it is good that you are saying we, because you are wanting to bring people in.
Yes.
So that it will it becomes a we.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It becomes a we.
Mm-hmm.
We and everything, which is good. Which is good. The other thought, my other question, okay, once you are in, I'm sure you've heard the expression, history repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so knowing and being able to, knowing that history repeats itself, and you have decided to take real event,
Mm-hmm.
a real event,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to take that event, and then you're showing, which is a network,
Mm-hmm.
you're showing this, so you're having people to basically come together and view this, and what I'm getting, So you are wanting each person to be able to take on the character or see themselves in 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 the story. So once they see themselves, once they see themselves in the story, it's like, okay, being able to take responsibility and say, what can I do to change the current event that's going on? Okay, this is a true story, and being able to take a true story of the past and relate it to today. So by relating it today, what is my part?
What is, like, your part?
Right. What will be my part in to make it a better place?
Right. And your part in the review, if you decide to be part of the review, because really it's a movie discussion, it's a book discussion. It's saying, what did you think about the show? What did you think about the episode?
Right.
And yes, can you relate to them? Did you have any similarities, or did you find any similarities between characters? It's that simple, like, going back. It's school assignment work, reading a book and answering those questions.
Right. Well, that would be, so that is, for me, that's all well and good.
Okay. And so you're asking, what is your part? And so for your part, where you're critically looking at it, and whether you're finding a similarity, that is your part.
Right.
Do you feel do you feel like, with me saying that, does it feel like, okay, yeah, I'm taking part? Do you feel like you're taking part, or no? I'm asking in a constructive.
Right. No. I hear correctly. Here. So,
because the whole thing, we're using our critical thinking skills.
Right.
That's your part. We're taking a second look.
Right.
Of what people. Of what is being brought to us. What is the information that is being brought to us. We're looking at it at a critical eye now.
Right.
We're not taking it for what it is anymore, because truth is no longer truth, apparently. Yeah. So it's just like we're using our critical thinking skills now, and so that's your part. And your part is, if you can find any relation, and if you can't, then that's fine, because you brought in a certain part.
Right.
And so, but then at the end of the day, it's a choice. We're still trying to look into, like, what is this mission? I'm still trying to figure out where I'm trying to go with this, because it's like, yeah, I'm talking about it, but yes, what are we doing about it? What am I doing about this? Like, am I wanting to go to the creators, to the producers, to the actors, and say, like, does this show still apply to you today? Or even I'm still in that, I don't know what it is that I want to, what it is that I'm trying to do with the network. It's still a work in progress. It's just more so like, let me just get it out there, and let me just put it out there to just get things going. But in the process, I am trying to think of ways, like, should I contact David Simon? Should I collaborate with others? I'm really looking into following the Orange County Needle Exchange program, because they're really, I I didn't realize that they even started this back in, I think, 2016. I want to say even 2015.
Started what?
The Orange County Needle Exchange Program.
What is that? Needle.
Where basically what I'm reading, they're going by the equation of N plus 20. So this equation is, if N is needle, you can bring in one dirty needle and you can get 20 clean needles. New clean needles.
Okay.
So this is like, yeah. They're saying that this is preventing diseases. They have proof and everything like that. And now I'm just thinking about the whole hepatitis, A that has been spreading around, San Diego as well as LA. It hasn't been in Orange County. So, but I'm also after, the whole riverbed situation, knowing what's going on in the riverbed, and after the cleanup of the riverbed and the amount of debris that they found, all I can say is, to me, what I'm seeing is that you're just feeding them the addiction. You're just continuing it. You're just giving it. You're just letting. Yeah, I got a free needle. Cool. Because even in the corner that I remember, when they have a house, to go in to do what they do, they charge for clean needles, So I'm really wanting I think right now that's where I'm wanting to go with this network. I'm wanting to follow up with the needle exchange program. Let's maybe have a conversation, like, to give me, more understanding and to put it on the podcast, because this is what I'm doing. Like, with a retrospective review, we're doing a podcast for it. And so it's just, I'm really just focusing on my community. And I'm seeing what's happening within my community. And so I'm taking part in trying to follow through, as well as seeing what I'm executing out and what I'm feeling. Can we connect the two to see what it is that, I'm wanting to do with this program? Because because so far it's just really having a conversation, and not really, okay, yeah, we're talking about it, but we're not really doing anything about it.
Right.
And so I'm trying to do stuff about it.
Right.
And I'm trying to still figure out ways of where can I go, where should I go, this, that, and the third. So yeah. What do you have to say? 'Cause you're giving me an eye.
No.
I know it's positive, but it's constructive, yeah. So it's like,